Support for today's video comes from Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Use code TIFO at checkout to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. On the final day of the 2015-16 season, Southampton beat Crystal Palace to finish 6th in the Premier League, and that starting 11 featured some real quality, as did the bench. The team have yet to better this finishing position. Ronald Koeman had inherited an excellent side from Mauricio Pochettino, added Virgil van Dijk, Oriol Romeu, and Saints only saw one defeat in their final 10 Premier League games. Indeed, from 2013-14 to 2016-17, the side finished 8th, 7th, 6th and 8th, having only returned to the Premier League in 2012. Their two-pronged strategy was working, promoting youth players to take first-team places or be sold for significant sums, or find relative bargains who could also be sold. But since 2017, the club has struggled, with relegation scraps becoming more of a regular occurrence. So what's gone wrong? Southampton came a long way in a short time when Koeman led his side to that 6th place. The club had nearly folded in 2009, but was rescued by Marcus Lieber. The businessman died the following year, but left Saints to his daughter, Katharina. Between 2009 and 2014, the club was run by Nicola Cortese, a driven, decisive character who brought in Pochettino. Recruitment was overseen between 2012 and 2014 by Paul Mitchell, who went on to join Pochettino at Spurs. Les Reed, brought in from the FA, oversaw a complete restructuring of the academy system and also influenced player transfers. Reed drove the creation of Southampton's famous Black Box, the data-driven analysis and recruitment hub. And this was the club's golden period. Katharina left the club to Cortese and Reed. The academy had, in the past, produced among others Gareth Bale, Theo Walcott, Callum Chambers, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Luke Shaw and James Ward-Prowse. Before Mitchell departed, he and Reed oversaw one of the best transfer windows any small Premier League club has achieved. In 2014-15, Saints brought in Sadio Mane, Shane Long, Dusan Tadic, Ryan Bertrand, Fraser Forster, Graziano Pella and Toby Alderweireld on loan. It was a big outlay, but it laid the foundations for Koeman's success, and the club recouped huge sums from later sales. The next window saw Reed bring in Van Dijk and Oriol Romeu. Although the loss of Pochettino and Mitchell to Spurs was a blow, Reed had identified Koeman as a successor. But by 2014, the seeds of Southampton's decline had been sown. Although Cortese is still a polarising figure among fans, his replacement, Ralf Kruger, is almost universally derided. A former ice hockey coach, Kruger knew nothing of football when he became the club's chairman in 2014. Koeman's appointment and the club's recruitment held things together, although the regular sale of its best players caused consternation. Between 2014 and 2018, the club has consistently been forced to sell to bigger teams. Academy product Luke Shaw and Morgan Schneiderlin left for Manchester United, while the sale of players to Liverpool actually became a running joke, with no fewer than 6 first-team starters moving to Merseyside. Such a turnover is always hard to deal with. But the club was also starting to lose its touch in the market. While 2014-15 was a superb window, from 2016 onwards, things have been decidedly less successful. And this, in part, is because of the flux in managerial appointments. Pochettino and Koeman had constructed squads capable of playing an intense and vertical style, although Koeman did temper this slightly. But their successors, Claude Puel and Maurizio Pellegrino, wanted a slower, more defensive approach, while Mark Hughes was simply a firefighter. Puel recorded 7 0-0 draws in his one season in charge, a club record, and while he made Saints hard to beat, he made them harder to watch. The side still finished 8th and reached a cup final, but this change of style meant recruitment became more confused. Too many managers in too short a space of time means that there are difficulties in building a squad with a consistent footballing approach. But did recruitment really get so much worse out of that shifting context? Well, fans will point to windows such as 2017-18, when players like Mario Lemina, Guido Carrillo and Wesley Hoyt were brought in, as a failure, but it can be hard for players to adapt to changes in coaching. And Kruger's lack of football knowledge meant that some signings were sanctioned by managers rather than Reed and Ross Wilson, Mitchell's replacement, having as much of a say. But since 2016, the club has also recruited Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Danny Ings, Stuart Armstrong, Kyle Walker-Peters and Che Adams. It's not a complete failure, but stacked against the cost of the players who didn't or haven't yet worked out, it is a decline. Perhaps more significantly, the focus on the academy has dropped. James Ward-Prowse is the last genuine success left at the club, although Jack Stevens has been decent. In addition, the club haven't sold a youth product for a good fee since Shaw, and also let Ben White go. When Matt Crocker rejoined Southampton to become Director of Football Operations in 2020, he felt that it looked as though there had been a neglect of some of the academy facilities. Some of them didn't feel like high-performance environments to me, he explained to The Athletic. That both robs the club of a revenue stream and its identity. And that's one of the reasons that Ralph Hasenhüttl has worked hard on his SFC playbook. While Crocker, the Director of Football, has revitalised the academy setup, changing the under-23s to a B-side. In 2017, Liga sold her majority stake to Chinese Lander Sports, owned by the Gao family. Reed left, but it wasn't until 2019 that things started to change significantly behind the scenes. Hasenhüttl was already in the dugout, and Zhao Zhisheng appointed himself chairman, getting rid of Kreuger and Wilson, promoting Martin Semmens from within to become CEO. Semmens brought back Crocker from the FA to oversee all football matters. This leadership group, supplemented by the new head of recruitment Martin Glover, have also shifted their approach. They want to recruit top championship talent and academy prospects at bigger clubs. This has led to the signing of Adams, Adam Armstrong, Thierry Small, Tino Livramento and Dino Semedo. Crocker has overseen significant investment in the club's training and academy facilities at Staplewood and had a hand in the FSC playbook with Hasenhüttl, a list of principles and philosophies which outline Southampton's club-wide vision. Crocker's resigning by Southampton is hugely significant. He led the academy system from 2006 to 2013, when Shaw, Walcott and others came through, before leaving to head the FA's pathway for youth international football from under-15s to under-20s. But these things take time to come to fruition, and clubs need stability. Crocker and Glover need time to reshape the club's playing staff and academy, but Southampton must also avoid relegation, or the mistakes of the past 4 years will haunt them for far longer. Today's video was sponsored by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. See the Lawnmower 4.0. It features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce those grooming accidents. Plus, it's waterproof. There's also the Weed Whacker, Manscaped's nose and ear hair trimmer, providing proprietary skin-safe technology. Join 2 million men worldwide and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code TIFO at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code TIFO at manscaped.com.